Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World, where we are taking a look at Gatehead Farm by MJ Modding. New mod map that became available recently on ModHub. It runs 488 megabytes and it is currently only available for PC and Mac, so sorry console players, looks like you're going to have to wait just a little bit on this one. According to the map maker, all farm buildings are static. There are many animated objects, including lights and gates. All animals are built into the map. There are 137 fields, small, medium, and large, 8 farms, 3 yards, a BGA, a shop, and 1 grain sell point. There are custom transport missions. This map is season ready. It has custom lighting. The map maker made all the farm sheds. And this map also has custom traffic, custom gates, and custom road textures. So there should be plenty to see. And we are starting out in our lovely little farmhouse right here. And if you want to sleep in said farmhouse, well, you'll need to go upstairs. Just FYI, find a bedroom, walk in, and you'll get your sleep trigger. And you can turn on the lights somewhere. I don't see that switch, but it apparently works. We can open the door, however, and that's what really matters, right? Right. Okay, so before we get too far into this, I'm just going to show you one thing real quick. The house, the backyard, is your chicken coop right here. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because we're walking right past the animal dealer dialog box right here and the feed trough for the chickens. So, with that said, let's take a look at our map, shall we? Now, in the description, it says that there's 137 fields. That's a bit of a misnomer. There are 137 plots of land. Significantly less than that have been converted into fields, as you can see. If we just zoom in, you can see 111, 110, 122, 109, 105, just in this small area. All of these are grass. Now that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's good because it gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want to do in that area. Bad because sometimes it's nice just to buy a field and go get to work on it. It's really up to you how you want to play the game. And I always tell everybody, play it your way. There's no wrong way to play Farming Simulator. Just have fun with it. Since we're here, we'll take a look. Now I am starting, let me back up just a second. I'm starting on New Farmer, as I always do. Pay close attention when we go through the equipment list, because there's some important information that I'm going to give you once we've done that. But for right now, we'll look at our land. Now, if we look at our starting spot, you can see we've got fields 1, 3, 27, 25, 26, and 28. So we've got a nice large starting area. The value on this is just shy of 464,000. So not too shabby. We've got our farmhouse. We have a fuel point. We do have a silo. We've got a cattle barn. And as we just pointed out, the chicken coop. On New Farmer, we do start with the traditional $100,000. Now, the fields aren't bad as fields go. I mean, field 30 here is just 4.5 acres, $76,000. That's not bad. Field 8, 10 acres, $171,000. But a lot of these fields you have to buy in groups. And of course I'm not going to find one now. But yeah, like this one right here. Multiple fields. Our starting area has multiple fields attached to it. There's multiple fields there. Multiple fields there. And there are many, many farms scattered throughout this map. So here, up in the northwest corner is a pig farm, and this is going to cost you a cool pretty much $600,000 just to get started on pig farm up there. This cattle farm here, a cool $811,000. Not only that, it's got multiple fields attached. One way down here, it seems like we could swap out 60 for 104 and that would work out. But unfortunately, you either sell it all or you buy it all. So, oh, and that's 59 and 60. So that's a huge buy-in right there. This is another farm right here. No animals involved. So if you just want to be an arable farmer, So one thing this map does provide for you is options. You do have a lot of options. There's another, looks like cattle down there. Yep, 214,000. Yeah, sheep right here. 168 if you want to get into sheep. That's not going to be too bad. So the lands are fairly reasonable. It's just when you have to buy them in bunches, they are expensive. So keep that in mind. Now, we do have a silo. It will hold 200,000 liters, and we start with the perfunctory little bit of everything. You know the drill on that one. And we have no new crops to speak of, actually none whatsoever. It's all the standard fare. Our sale points are the barn, the Gatehead dairy, Gatehead stores, Gatehead eggs, the sawmill, and 2 spinneries. Now, one drawback to this map, I'll tell you right now, is that there's only one place to sell your crop, and that's at the Gatehead stores. So there's no competition, and it's nice to have multiple sale points, because then if you've got a low price on one, like this wheat is only $496 right now, but if we had multiple sell points for this wheat, we might be able to find one that's in the $900 or $1,000 range where we could ship our wheat off to. So if you're going to play this map, you might consider adding a few more sale points for your crops. Just something to think about. Now, of course, when we're just getting started, you don't see them, but there is a good selection of contracts and custom transport missions. So I would expect to see a lot of transport missions on this map. One starting at the BGA right here. So you have that going for you. Now, as far as starting equipment goes, let's take a look and see. And remember, I said keep this in mind because I'm going to give you more information here in just a minute. So we start with an Armatrack 1104, a John Deere 6145M, the Rostel Mash 330, the FarmTech TDK 1600, PowerStream 500 for the Rostel Mash, the Cultimer L300 cultivator, the Spirit R300S from Vaderstadt for a cedar planter or cedar, Delta's 1302 MTA3 Kuhn sprayer with an additional tank. We also have a Tedder, the Vicon Fanex 604, the New Holland Roll Belt 150 round baler, the Knight RA 142 Kuhn forage wagon, TMR mixer. We've got the standard water tanker from Joskin, and a Meadow Roller Vario from Duvelsdorf. I don't think I've ever seen a Meadow Roller in starting equipment before. That's not to say they're not out there, but it's an interesting choice. Now, all of that equipment, why do I want you to remember this? Because if you start in Farm Manager, or if you start in Start from Scratch, you get to keep all of that equipment. It's available on any mode you play. The only difference between New Farmer and the others is that in New Farmer you have land. Well, remember, our plot of land right here was only $464,000. I still would have all of my equipment. I'd have the 1.2 million from starting in Farm Manager. So even if I started with just equipment and bought this, instead of $100,000, I'd have over $700,000 to play with. So keep that in mind. The same situation applies if you're starting from scratch. You still have all the equipment. With the $500,000 you start with on Start from Scratch, you could still buy this and still have operating money. So, with that said, consider your options. Now, one thing this farm has a lot of, the starting farm here, a lot of storage, as you can see right here. Huge storage area here, and there are many, many light switches around. And the lighting is very nice. It's been done exceptionally well. There are many, many gates to open if you're into that sort of thing. It does give it a nice feel. More lights here. And we'll just kind of work our way around counterclockwise. As I said, lots of doors, lots of nice rolling doors. This is your shop, so you do have a shop. You can bring your vehicles in right here and get them repaired up. And as we work our way around, straight ahead is going to be our cattle pasture. Right here is your milk collection point, and this is kind of cool because some outbuildings have been added. You know, this is the milk max homogenizer, so you know the buildings have a purpose. More gates to open now. The map maker did say this is seasons ready, and you've got a very large cattle pasture here. And remember, in seasons, all of this grass becomes cattle feed. So having something like this is nice. Even if you're not playing seasons, it gives you something to mow, turn into hay, and also create cattle feed. So while this doesn't directly support the animal pen extension, it does allow for it. It is recognized, or the water trough is recognized, so you can place the valves. If you've ever used that before, this is a really handy feature, but you could just place the valves, come out here and turn those on when you want water for your cattle. And let's see if we can't just work our way back around on this side. Another open door. Now this is a very well laid out cattle barn. I like it a lot, actually. Now keep in mind, these bales right here, these are just for show. Interesting little feature here. There's a loft up here where you can store your junk. I don't know what you'd want to put up here, but you can climb up and use it if you'd like. So I also don't know if we actually get calves in these calf pens right here. Maybe I should buy some cows and find out, huh? That'd probably be a good idea. But yeah, very, very nice cattle barn. Come on. Got your standard feed trough right here. Yeah, this would be our animal dialogue, so let's just move a few cows over. Slurry fill point right there, obviously. Let's go take a look. I hear cows. Now, I was kind of curious if the cows actually wander into the barn, and they do. Sometimes they don't. So that's nice that they're actually coming inside. Nope, the calves are just for show. That's okay. That's pretty standard. Okay, moving right along. Although I'm a little curious about where this cow's going to go. Oh, he's going to munch on some gravel, some concrete there. Good cow. Eat that gravel. Now, like I said, there is a ton of storage on this starting farm. Just tons of it. Now, one thing that I was a little curious about. We have a tedder and we've got a baler, but we don't have any of the other grass handling equipment like mowers or windrower. So you'll have to fill in those blanks. But I think you start with plenty of equipment that's not going to be too much of an issue. Shouldn't be much of an issue at all, actually. Now this right here, this is going to be your silo. I like this silo. It's actually pretty slick. Now you're going to have to back in or have a short trailer you can drive up, and you'll either have to back in or back out, your choice. And then right here is going to be your fill trigger. So to unload from your silo, you would do that right there. Pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, that's the case. And then again, more storage over here. And more storage over here. So we have no shortage of storage. And it looks like we've got some phony seed and fertilizer pallets over here too. So keep that in mind. I don't know. I can't tell if they're fake or not. I'm not getting a trigger to pick them up, and that kind of indicates to me that they're a little bit phony. So we've got a couple of really nice bunker silos, nice big ones. If you're into making silage, you've got all the room in the world to do that. So your cattle shouldn't have any trouble being taken care of. And there's our meadow roller. Again, I've never seen one, but at least not. I've never seen one starting on the farm, but hey, if that's your cup of tea, go for it. I've never had much of a need for one, at least not since I was on my very first farm trying to figure out what everything does. So, now one thing that's nice, he has custom built gates, and these are actually pretty sharp. I'd actually like to see these as placeables, because I use a lot of fence and a lot of gates on some of the maps that I use, or that I play with. So, okay, so that is your starting farm on Gatehead Farm. I think the next best step is going to be to buy a truck and do a little tour. What do you think? I think that sounds perfectly reasonable. We're going to throw some Harv's World colors on there. Buy that bad boy up. Make sure we save our game. Now, one thing to point out. It took me a while to find the shop, and I'll tell you why. Because when you're zoomed out like this, it doesn't show you the letters. Like the words. And the shop has an animal dealer icon on it. And I was like, oh, it's an animal dealer. No, that's your shop. So we're just going to jump into our pickup here right at the shop. Going to get rid of that menu. Now, one nice thing is you saw where the truck was parked back here. A lot of times when map makers put a shop on their map, your equipment spawns like right next to the building. And I don't know how many times I've been stuck where I'm trying to attach a header to a harvester, even to load the header onto a trailer, and I can't get to it because I'm stuck up against the building. So it's nice that it's kind of out in the open like this. And then of course back here is going to be your repair area. So, and it's a nice shop. Kind of curious if these doors open too. No, I didn't think so, but hey, it's worth a shot. I also like it when they put in dealerships like this and they put equipment around. Nothing worse than, you know, you've got this big shop sitting there and all of a sudden there's there's just, you know, it's an empty lot. Like, oh, we sell equipment, but don't expect to test drive anything. Yeah. So let's just start out heading north. Kind of get you a feel for this. I'm going to scroll out pretty good just so you can see a little bit better what's going on, and I need to be on the left because this map is set in Scotland. Now, nobody says that directly anywhere, but there are plenty of Scottish flags flying all over this town, all over the town, especially, well, on the docks actually. But you can see the map maker, MJ Modding, has done a really nice job of setting up little villages around the area, and they look really good. I mean, they're obviously suburban, and and the houses are pretty much shaped the same, so don't come home drunk and go to the wrong house. But no, in all honesty, it does look very, very good. The village areas, and they're all in appropriate places, so that's nice. Now, one thing that you'll notice a little bit on this map, the roads aren't completely seamless. Occasionally you'll get creases like this. You know, those are those are details that could stand to be paid a little more attention to. But then there's so many other good ones that I think I can forgive a few flaws. Now, I love water features on maps. It really kind of brings the map to life, and this one is nicely detailed. It's got the little dock there with the boat next to it, flowing water right down through here, and then you've got a few houses parked next to it. So that's pretty nice. And so I have a question for those people in Europe. Do you still find these red phone boxes around all over the place? Because I'll tell you, in the US, a phone booth has pretty much become obsolete. Like, you don't see them anywhere. It's, you know, take a picture if you find one, because you've just discovered an antique that nobody uses anymore. Just curious. Just always interested in what's going on in other parts of the world. Now, just coming up here on our left, we do have another one of the farms that... Whoa. Wow, there's my voice breaking like a 12-year-old boy. Anyway, we do have another farm coming up here on our left. This is another cattle farm that you could buy into. Again, if you're coming in here, drive better than I am, because I'm just slamming up against the brick wall or the rock wall here. But again, lots and lots of storage. Lots and lots of storage. And another nice cattle pasture that you could take advantage of. So, and a shop, a repair shop right in there. Okay, let's move right along, shall we? Now I try to hit some of the things I find nice about a map. I try to, point out interesting things. I don't feel the need to go into every detail about every single spot on the map, because frankly, half the fun of playing a map is discovering it, figuring it out, at least for me. And so I don't want to know every little detail. That's nice little features like this that really bring a map to life. There's a house being built along this road. I like that. Again, the fences look really, really good. Oh, let's just drive all the way out to the east side of the map. And one thing to keep in mind, that there are plenty of hedgerows here, just like you would expect to find in Europe, in the UK, France too. But these do not have collisions on them. So if you want to use big equipment, you shouldn't have too much trouble. No trouble at all, in fact. But there is a nice mix of fields. A lot of opportunity to kind of set things up the way you want them to be set up. And some really interesting features. You've got your standard windmills, but the windmills are off the map. I like the inlet here coming in off the sea. That's a nice feature. You would expect deviations like that in the real world. I also like the textures a lot on these rock walls. I kind of feel like the map maker may have done those, because I don't recall seeing them anywhere else. But they do look really, really good. Now, one thing I'll say about this map that I really, really like is I think the map maker has done a brilliant job on the coast. Now, I realize, this is farming simulator, not shipping simulator, but still, again, you do these things, you add these details to give the map some character, to give it some life, to bring it into a sense of reality. And this looks like a fantastic beach, but then you've got the wharf here with your hot dog vendors, and you could walk out there and go fishing if you wanted to. There are plenty of ships sailing out there, which I really, really like. There's lots of light poles for me to crash into. We've got the shops all along the waterfront, just like you would expect. And then we've got the actual port facility here. And it just looks fantastic. It's very, very well done. Truly impressive. There's even a fishing dock right here where fishing boats or harbor patrol would be docked up. And this actually reminds me of a place I went to in Oregon one time a little bit. But this is in fact Scotland. Okay, with that said, we'll just take this up toward the northwest again. Actually, more west and then north. Now, one thing that I like is that there's plenty to give the map character, like, the trees along the road, some weeds, shrub, that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's not overdone. Just enough to make it feel like it's real. And that I can appreciate. Now, you know, one of the reasons we play these games is so we can relax and escape the real world for a while and step into another world. And that's why I think, you know, the more realism you can add to a map, the better the map is. If you can make it look like a whole other world, then that's pretty much the best we can hope for, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the heck out of this coronavirus-laden cruel world that we live in and escape from it and relax for a while, do some farming and see new sights. So again, more water here, almost like a trail that leads over a bridge over there, and then a nice big lake that this all flows into. A fantastic brick bridge right here. I love that. And we'll just cruise around, hit some hot spots just a little bit more, and then I'll do a flyover just so you can get an aerial view and really see everything, and we'll call it a day. Now up here we're coming back up to our shop, so we're right back where we started, so we'll cut back down to the south on this western side of the map. But yeah, for my money, this is a very, very good looking map. There is a large area. If you're interested in doing forestry over by that lake, and I'll point that out during the flyover, there is a large area for doing forestry. So that's available to you too. Many, many options. Now right here is our animal dealer. So if you want your cows, you want your sheep, you want your pig, you want your chickens, and you want to haul them on your own, here's the place to buy them. And I think there's one last place that I really want to make sure that we hit. Should be coming up on it. Yeah, it's going to be right down this road. And that's the BGA. Now everybody knows about the BGA at this point. And one of the things I've always said is we're farmers. Why do we have to be biogas executives and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to own and operate a biogas facility? Well, in this map you don't. And that's really nice because you can buy the biogas plant for $27,535. That is a great price and gives you access to all biogas facilities. Got a couple of massive bunker silos here that you can take advantage of if you'd like to. And of course you've got your digestate fill point right here, and then your tip in for your silage or whatever else you silage. It would be silage. In fact, oops, why don't I just buy that? There, and then we'll see. So the biogas plant, silage, looks like hay and grass they will buy, so that's pretty standard. Okay. That is the biogas plant. So at this point, I think we'll just do a quick flyover and call it good. What do you think? I think that sounds like a plan. Up, up, and away. Now, one thing that I forgot to point out, and I'll do it right now since we're right down here on the edge. So if we look at our lands, there's a lot of land around the edges. If you want to buy it, it's $5 million. But there's a lot of forested area around these edges that if you wanted to do forestry, you could. But this area right here, this is all forest. So if you want to do forestry, that's going to be a good spot for you to do it in. And just moving along the western edge of the map, one of our big sell points right here below us. Another farm. This looks like another cattle farm we could take advantage of. This would be our sawmill right down here below. Wood chips and lumber, timber, of course. would expect nothing less. No standard square fields on this map, that's for sure. I don't think I saw a single square map on the whole place. This was kind of cool. I like the ships offshore, but I've got a shipwreck. I like that. Again, little details. And if you come into the wharf here, you know, this is what I was pointing out. And there's our flag of Scotland flying proudly right there in the harbor. Oh, I hadn't noticed this before either, but that little harbor anchor standing there, that's a nice touch. And we've got our little town. Looks like maybe a school. That looks very school-like. I like that. So yeah, our beachfront wharf. So what do you think? What do you think of Gatehead Farm here in Scotland? I think it's pretty nice. Is it perfect in every way? I wouldn't say that, but I think it's got a very nice feel to it. A very relaxed atmosphere. And here's another one of the farms that we could take advantage of if we wanted to. Arable farming, it would appear. So yeah, this is Gatehead Farm in Scotland. Good looking map. Well done. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'd be real interested to find out exactly what your thoughts are about this map. I'm always interested in other people's opinions about things. You know, and I know when I do map tours, oh, this would be our dairy right here. We're still finding things to just point out along the way. But I know when I do map tours, it's purely subjective. I mean, it's my opinion. I don't expect you to have my opinion. I expect you to make up your own minds, which I'm sure you will do in spades. Anyway, this is Gatehead Farm for the third time. I hope you enjoyed this map tour, found it interesting, educational, or otherwise. If you did, do me a favor. Remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. And until next time, take care.